Jo Mackenzie here, your watercolor coach. I'm here today to tell you a story which doesn't show me in a very good light, but you might find it interesting, and for me it was life-changing. It happened around the first time that I exhibited my artwork, or the first time I seriously remember exhibiting my artwork. And my best buddy and I were together, and we were putting the paintings up, and this was sort of the thought bubbles that were coming out of my head and coming out of my mouth. I was saying things like, what if nobody comes? What if they're not straight? Is this art any good? I mean, almost every negative thing that you can imagine was coming out of my mouth. And my insecurity was just as thick as anything could possibly be. And we finished hanging the pictures. And I stood back and I had a mixture of both pride because, oh my gosh, I had done this thing and I felt pretty good about the work. And also just the fact that it was happening was sort of miraculous to me. So I at least had that insight. Then after hanging the artwork, and you've probably done this before when you've hung artwork for a show, is there's a gap of some time, maybe a day or two before what they have, the opening where there's some food and socialization happens. Well, that just is an incubator for me. I mean, an incubator of insecurity, which makes the whole thing, thicker than it was before. And so my friend, who's a really good friend, and this is why this does not show me in a good light, at one point, as we were getting closer to the event, maybe we were driving to the event, I'm not sure, but she said this to me, and I remember it as if time stopped. If we were driving, then it stopped. All I remember is all of a sudden there was this before, and then there was an after. And she said, "Jo, what do you do if someone gives you a gift?" And I said, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I didn't understand. And so she said it again. She said, "Jo, what do you do if you get a gift?" In other words, someone has put a box down with a ribbon on it and has your name on it. What do you do with that? I said, well, I don't understand what you're talking about. What are you talking about? It's like, just not getting it, right? So she says again, she was not going to give up on this fool. And she said, "Jo, what do you do if you get a gift?" And she said, and she really laid it out. She said, if something appears on your doorstep, has a ribbon on it, it says, "This is for Jo Mackenzie." She said to me, "What do you do if you get a gift?" And I said, "Well, you open it." She said, "That's right. You open it. And then what?" And I said, "And you say thank you." And she said, "Yes." And then she had to really connect the dots for me. She said, "Jo, what's happening right now? What's happening today?" And I finally got it. I get it. Having this show, having this event, having this life, it's a gift. It's a gift. And what do you do when you get a gift? She was absolutely right. You open it. Stop with all the what ifs. You open the gift. And after you open the gift, what do? You say thank you. And so she said to me, the only thing you have to do today at this opening is all you have to do is say thank you. Someone's going to come up to you and say they really like your work, or how did you do that, or ask you a question. And the only requirement you have is to say thank you. And she was right. She was absolutely right. And that was a life lesson that I hope I never, ever, ever forget. And I try when I wake up in the morning to remind myself that the day is a gift. And what do you do when you get a gift? You open it up and you say thank you. So that's my tip for the day. Remember to keep the whites of your paper white, your paints wet, mass for value, mix for color, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.